Have you ever been told? I've been told more than once. And I've been told.
Sometimes by me.
Sometimes by you. Been told what to do. Have you ever been told what to do in a situation and yet no one actually knew the details of what was going on for you or what the details of the situation were? I mean, there was a time.
Oh, you
Okay, Confessions 101.
Okay.
Should I do Confessions 101?
Yeah, I was going to confess that you tell me all the time that I don't listen. But actually, I do listen, but you don't feel heard. There's a subtle difference there because I still am working on the skill of active listening where I comment, where I paraphrase, where I ask for deeper understanding, where I go, did I get it right? Is this what you meant? And then when I've done all that, then you feel heard. So really it's not about me not listening, it's about you not feeling heard.
Right.
Whoa, that was deep.
That was deep, and I'm going to just maybe correct you a tiny bit.
Oh, of course.
Because it's not always. If you've been listening...
Did I say always?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's crazy. I don't like the word always.
Right. And
except for I will always love me. You. Yes.
Yes. Hey, Ray, Virginia, Joanne, great to see you guys. And it really is a conversation. Have you ever been told what the prescription was before the diagnosis was really complete? Because I know for me, and I wrap myself out here, is I would tell people, because I had so much knowledge in an area, I would start giving them the information, but I didn't really understand what was going on for them. Even today, Joanne said, should I go to my bank first? Or should I go to a mortgage broker first? Should I do them simultaneously? And although there's general answers, until we really have a consultation, a conversation geared for that person, I can't actually fully answer it because I'm giving a general prescription, not a specific prescription. And so in the past, I would just give a prescription because I know in general what the answer is, but it's not specific. So we have a tendency to think because we know a lot about something, we can just give the answers and not lean in to hear what's really going on.
What? Tell me about it, honey. What's really up for you?
And so it's one of those things like when you've been listened to and somebody's actually heard you and now they've given you an answer. Have you ever noticed that it's actually usually a better answer?
Is it a better answer, or many times is it a question?
Jeez.
Yeah, when you ask a question, then people really know that you're listening because you're asking for clarification, you're asking for more input, you're asking for other information to help you with your diagnosis.
Right. And this is whether we're talking health or whether we're talking cars or whether we're talking real estate or whether we're even talking a relationship issue. Like it really doesn't matter what area we're talking about.
I'm glad I never have those.
Yeah. So unless you do a little bit of fact finding, a little bit of determining what's going on below the surface, what's really happening there. Regina Diana saying, yep, that's right. Because it is so easy to give common knowledge. Like even when you go in to get a car done.
Yeah, well, this is a great example because, you know, a mechanic should be really good at diagnosing the issue, right? Like many mechanics will ask you questions like, well, what's it feel like? What's it sound like?
Ping, ping, ping.
Yeah, what's going on?
Is it pulling? Is it?
Yeah, or they might say, hey, I'm going to take it for a little drive because then I can feel it and experience the issue myself. Or they might say, is it an intermittent problem? Or is it every time you start it that it stalls? Or because those are things that give clues to where to go. Now, the other thing they do is they have a great thing called a diagnostic tool, which, old cars, you just physically need to look at them. You need to pull the spark plugs and see if the plug was bad or not. Now with computers, they can tell whether it's firing properly. They can tell whether it's the line, the plug line. Like, I've had them change one line. And in the old days, we would change all of the spark plug wires because we didn't know which one was acting up. But with diagnostic tools, they can say, no, this wire on the 8th cylinder is the one that's bad.
Right, and you've sometimes taken your car in and they've replaced part after part after part, and it didn't fix the problem. Like, has that ever happened to you? Because they didn't actually diagnose it properly. They just went with general knowledge. Well, if it sounds like this, then the problem's this. Well, what if it's not this?
Yeah, and they would change a part and give it back to you, and you go, no, the sound's still there.
Just recently, I had to take my car back. Oh, well, I just replaced part of it because it was leaking there. Well, you then told me that when you replace part of the hose, I forget exactly the details because, Yetta and cars don't really hang out that well together. But anyway, unless it's a convertible and I'm driving, or actually he's driving that, I like it better. Anyhow, and when I brought it back, they said, well, usually if you fix one piece of that, then the leak springs somewhere else. So it wasn't the same leak, it was a different leak. And I thought, well, if you knew that, maybe you would have tested it. If you thought that was a possibility. They were trying to save me money, which I so appreciate that. So sometimes in the endeavor to save money, by not doing a thorough diagnosis, it actually costs more.
Yeah, it costs more money and time. Time is money.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed about having to go there again.
Yeah. So that's just the nature of the beast. Now, this mechanic is an amazing mechanic.
Yeah, they are. They're fantastic. And actually, he repaired it and he didn't charge me anything, and it would have cost me a lot of money had he fixed it in the first place. So it was kind of like, maybe it was worth the drive. Maybe it was worth it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean we do it right perfectly, even when we are generally really good at what we do.
But we go to a professional. We offer up our best knowledge of the problem, and hopefully they offer up their best knowledge of the solution, and they do that by diagnosis.
Right, exactly. And what I have learned, and you have maybe learned this too, like when you go to the doctor, it's not the same pill for everybody. So whether we're talking real estate or whether we're talking anything in life, it's not the same solution for everyone, because the first piece that needs to be diagnosed is the people, is the intangibles, right? The intangible, the personality styles. Do I need to slow it down? Do I need to speed it up? Do I need to give them more time to think when I ask the question? And we'll share in a few minutes the question that I'm going to say is pretty much always helpful in a situation when you're doing some sort of diagnosis for anything.
And some people need more information so they can make a great decision. Other people need or desire, they don't want the information. They just want you to tell them what the right decision is.
Right.
Once they've given you their situation, they don't want you to give you all the data and the market and the comparable. They just go, okay, what would you sell it for if it was yours, and how would you sell it? Go do that. And that's just different prescription for a different person, right? Different personality.
Exactly. So not every house needs the same prescription if we're talking real estate, because some of them have been maintained to the nth degree, but the person, if we go back to the person, still needs me to tell them they need to do something. But I'm looking going, what? There's nothing wrong. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But I'm thinking if I give them that prescription, they're going to feel like I didn't give them what they were looking for, which was something to do. So I sometimes have said,
Have you made stuff up?
no. I've just gotten really particular, Yetta. So I've
Yeah.
said, maybe get an old toothbrush, and you know the little bit of dust in the window frame and the edge in that third bedroom that you probably haven't used that's close to the street. Maybe you just need to go in there with a toothbrush and take out that, because then your home will be in the same condition throughout as the rest of it. Like I could eat off the windowsill because I can already eat off the floor, and I can eat off the laundry room, and I can eat off the utility room.
And sometimes
so-
it's not about houses, right? Sometimes we're just there to help with a relationship
Mm.
or a financial issue, or not so much a financial issue even. Many times it's financial wherewithal, how to build wealth through real estate by investing or through other methods,
Mhm.
and what would be the wise thing to do. Do I lock in? Do I not lock in on the finances? Do I take this home loan, like the home equity loan that they're offering me? I don't need the money. Do I take it at the same time I'm getting my mortgage? Like all these questions that
Right.
we're able to help with when we know the background, what their goals are.
And then there's the diagnosis of the house if you're buying. So what we promised we're going to do is we knew that in 15 minutes we would barely scratch the surface, and it was
Well,
going to
that's
feel
horrible.
like chalk on a chalkboards or fingernails on a chalkboard. That's it. And so we are going to do this on a Life's Inside Track. We're going to do 3 episodes coming up in probably June. We will have the discussion around a proper, thorough diagnosis in different situations. So you'll have your list of questions that you could go to. But I did promise one question today.
Yes, you did.
I did.
What? That someone's going to ask us a question?
No, I'm going to answer a question
Oh,
that
what
people
question?
have been asking.
What question is that?
Well, answering the question is, how do we help somebody get access to the information that they already know, but they don't really know how to get to the question? Like it's in them. I know I'm starting to get confusing.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
in
confused,
them,
and
you
I'm sitting right
shouldn't be.
beside you.
That wouldn't be the first time that's happened. So you know that most of the time people have the answer. They already have the answer within them. They just don't know how to access it. So a way to give people access to the answer that is already within them is asking them this question. If somebody you really cared about came to you and asked you whether they should price their house to sell in this market, or whether they should price it above or below, or what's the right time to move, it doesn't really matter what the question is, or whether it's time for me to get my body moving, it doesn't matter. The question you would ask them is, if a friend came to you and asked you the question you just asked me, what question would you ask them to ask themselves? Because we already know. We just have to be given a moment. And then the trick is, Yetta, I'm talking to Yetta right now, or Ken, shh, zipit.com. Nothing more. Let the person get access to that information. Let them decide what the question is. We just did it in one of our Boundless Life Design coaching sessions today, and our client asked us a question, and Ken, and I could feel it coming, he just simply turned it on her and said, well, if somebody came to you and asked you the question you just asked me, and he laid out what it was, what question would you ask them to ask themselves? And immediately she said, oh, I knew you were going to do that. She goes, immediately she had the answer. And so we already have the answer. We just need to be given permission to get access to the question, and then the answer seems to show up. That's the insight of today. You can use that question in any area of your life, because, as Ken says, what does Ken say today?
A person convinced against their will be of the same opinion still. So if you think of the idea, women are masters at this with their husbands. They make their husbands think it was their idea to do something, like go out for dinner or
Well,
whatever.
what's your idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. See? And then we become the heroes and they get what they want. It's a mastermind of masterminding. I love it.
So we are so grateful and honored that we get to come alongside you, even just for 15 minutes on the first and third Wednesday, and then every Friday on Life's Inside Track, where we get to share techniques, thoughts, and tools around real estate and life that we all need, we all deserve, you, I, and everyone, because we really want to turn our house into homes where our family thrives and we live the best life possible. And we do it because we care about you and you care about us. And so it's fun to grow in this life together.
It sure is. And so if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay so that we can find your comments and we can communicate with you. And any questions you have, reach out to us. You can email us. Where would they email us?
together@deckerteam.com. And if you're thinking, I need a consult now, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about this, but if you need a consult right now, then you could actually even phone us, 613-860-4663. So that's 860-4663, which stands for home. No kidding, right? That's awesome. So thank you for joining us. You guys are awesome. Chat it up and encourage each other with questions. I'd love to hear, what's your favorite question? I shared mine. What's your favorite question when somebody's trying to dig deep to get access to proper diagnosis before they give a prescription?